Hey guys, welcome again. Another session of Know Your Operator. This time around, we're hosting Zuling Chen from RockX. We're very happy to have him with us. They're joining the SSV Network as operators, and it's a great opportunity to share a bit about what they're doing and what they're going to be working on. With us, like always, we have Alon. But before we get started, I have a few announcements. For those of you who haven't seen, the Incentivized testnet is released. As a quick reminder, the Incentivized testnet is designed to bring users, bring operators, bring participants into the SSV network so we can test it out, ramp up everything that has to do with scale and everything that has to do in preparation for the mainnet event. So if you want to make an extra buck or support RockX, it's definitely a great opportunity to do it. That's first of all. Second of all, I'm sure Dean will be sharing the screen right now. We are launching an operator page. So just to give you an example, RockX is going to be an operator. Once you click on the RockX operator page, you'll be able to see all the stats, all the information, and all the validators that are run on the RockX system. The setup, the idea here is essentially to make sure it's as transparent and as straightforward as possible so you guys can make the best decision. All right, without further ado, Zuling, it's a pleasure to meet you. It'd be great if you could share a few words about yourself, and then we can jump in and talk about RockX.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Eran, and thank you, Alon. Hi everyone from the SSV community. Very great. I'm very happy to be here. In a situation where everybody's still kind of like working from home, having video chat is kind of like a good personal touch, to feel like back to normal. Yeah, very quick introduction of myself. So I've been in this space for a couple of years. So previously I have co-founded a public blockchain called ELF, where our thesis is that, POS is gonna be the foundation for smart contracts. And we believe in the power of smart contracts. And I think, with all the DeFi and NFT stuff going on, so that kind of prove our point. Yeah, so, based on my experience building on a hardcore public blockchain with cross-chain capability, so that's where I realized, Web 3.0 is gonna be really exciting. That's why I started the business in RockX. Our goal here is to secure and build for Web 3.0. And the first thing we've been doing is to run validators for all the Web 3 blockchains, including Ethereum.
Mm-hmm. Cool. We will definitely ask you a lot more questions about that in the next slides. I'd love to get started with, the basics of the origins of RockX. You mentioned ELF, you mentioned, cloud computing for blockchains, running POS blockchains. Tell us a bit about the transition into RockX and how it all got started.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. I was with ELF from the very beginning back in 2017. So we built a team of 40 people, actually trying to build something completely from scratch. Because back then, multi-chain structure is not something that exists yet, and also making more faster smart contract was something that we've been working on. So in 2019, so a few of my friends and myself, so we came up with this idea saying that, we're convinced that a POS would be a really exciting segment. And we think, as a hobby, we think, okay, we've been running validators. So why don't we, make this something more like a business? But of course, back then, this is something that it's relatively small because of the token price was lower, but we're just happy okay, just we are part of the network processing the transactions, and of course in return we'll get some block rewards from there. Yeah, so the company has been running since 2019, and at the beginning of this year I decided to leave Elf because the team, my co-founder and the team has been running quite smoothly, and myself has different passion in this industry. Where I want to be more collaborative. Working with multiple blockchains, because this space, I think that's what attracts me. In this space, talking to different people, working with different people, and come up with new ideas. So ever since I have been taking the responsibility as the CEO of RockX this year, and the first thing we've been doing is, because that's something like really exciting for us. So besides doing a validator service, where we are already providing service for Polkadot, Solana, OSS Labs, Terra, etc. We are also a team focusing on the technology. So in the past, we built the web wallet for OSS Labs, and also we have built IDE tools for Algorand. So that's where we want to contribute to the tooling and the infrastructure for developers. And moving forward in the future, we're actually looking at a few other exciting stuff. So first of all, with staking, we want to look at what would be any possible options to help people improve their staking yield, either using leverage or other mechanisms, and also how to incorporate decentralized derivatives, to hedge the market risk in staking, because a lot of people are still, hesitant to stake due to the token price fluctuation. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, we're about to launch a research arm called X Matrix Labs. So that arm is going to do a lot of R&D stuff on multi-party computation for key storage, because that's something, we still think, in staking, we can improve on the key management and storage. And also whether we can incorporate ZK Snark into, the services we're using, because privacy is another big topic, that would be beneficial for the whole industry. So that's pretty much, that's plenty of stuff we've been working on. So we'll try to, release things like step by step. So far, Ethereum 2.0 has been keeping us really busy.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of things. We'll deep dive into, you touched on all the points I wanted to discuss, so that's great. I wanted to deep dive, you mentioned the POS. Anyone that goes into your website sees straight away all the POS options. It's all about POS from start to end. I have a question that sort of popped to my mind when I looked at it. So you mentioned Solana, you mentioned all the big POS names. I saw Polkadot, I saw Kusama, I saw a bunch of things. Ethereum was listed quite low, not only because of the yield, but I'm guessing because there's still a lot to have. So I'm asking, why Ethereum? Why you're so bullish on Ethereum despite what you're currently focusing on right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ethereum staking is definitely interesting because, this is the first ever time in history, a large blockchain is actually transitioning from POW to POS. I do have some experience using POW mining as a hobby. And also, in Asia, historically, there is a huge industry for POW mining. So, this transitioning for Ethereum from POW to POS is already a huge experiment, which we're very curious to see how this will take place. And as I mentioned before, we are very bullish in smart contracts, because that's how we can make blockchain from storage of value to more of a part of the decentralized web in the future. And so far, we look at all the technology, we believe POS is probably the most sensible consensus mechanism that hit the balance of fast transaction, and also in terms of security and community involvement in governance. And right now, Ethereum is still without any dispute, the largest developers and also DApp ecosystem in the space. That's why, this this paradigm shift, to staking is something really huge, and we just want to learn along the way. What are the technical development along it, and the best way to get into it is always, starting as a validator. So we can see from the bottom to the top. As from a token holder point of view, yes, although Ethereum staking yield is quite low, 5-6%, but still it's decent, because this is something that on top of whatever the potential growth of Ethereum in terms of utility. And I could also say probably this is a better return compared to ETH lending in DeFi. So I think the market also kind of has proven that point, right? Because there's already close to 10% of ETH already staked in the Beacon chain. Even though people cannot unstake it. So we're really excited about Ethereum staking, both from shifting to 2.0 and also from a token holder's point of view.
I think we're also going to see, after the merge and everything, we'll see more and more rewards, distributed on the Ethereum staking network. Although that could, be offset if a lot more Ether will come in and take grab. What do you think about, when we will get to that transition, where Ethereum staking is ubiquitous and it's everywhere? How do you see it playing a role in DeFi? Because as of now, most of the collateral in DeFi is Ethereum. And now the question is, will that change? Will that change to stake ETH, or how do you see that?
So I mean, that's a very interesting question. We've been talking with some people as well. So I think there will be two markets going to be around in parallel, right? So there will be the DeFi market, and there will be also the staking market. These two are quite different in the sense that for DeFi market, the actual yield usually comes from either transaction fees or lending interest, and both of these yield actually are based on business activities, meaning that this is fluctuating. If people are not trading, if people are not lending, you will not get a sustainable and stable yield. Although, at times that, the market has made the yield much higher. On the other hand, the ETH staking is something long-term and sustainable, because that comes from, the block, the inflation, or you can call the block rewards directly from the system. So I think these two will fit into different risk customers with different risk appetites, right? So the ETH staking will be more like a bond. So I usually say, this is more like a bond from an emerging market. So ETH is basically a digital nation, that has been uprising. So the DeFi yield will be more like a corporate bond. It depends on the protocol itself and the business activities. So yeah, I think there will be a reshuffling, in terms of how ETH are stored and also allocated in the whole market. But I guess, in terms of percentage, ETH staking is still gonna be on the rise due to security, because that enhances the security of the whole network, and also because of the sustainability, the long-term reward of ETH staking in that sense.
Do you think that we'll see more tokenized ETH staking taking over in terms of collateral in DeFi protocols? So, as somebody who provides liquidity in Ethereum, I could say, I'll stake it. I'll take the tokenized stake, put it into my favorite DeFi protocol, and even gain more on top of the Ethereum staking rewards.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right, Alon. I think that's already happening. So RockX is actually a node operator for Lido as well as StarFi. So both protocols has already offered a liquid staking token, right? So kind of like a derivative where the underlying ETH has already been staked, but people can trade the ST ETH or RETH in the market freely. So that DeFi market has not been fully established yet, but yes, I think that's definitely going to happen. This is also where we see, the combination of liquid staking with DeFi could give people a leveraged staking opportunity, so that their ETH staking yield will not be just 5%. This could go to like 7 to 10%.
Yeah,
that's a great answer. Let's move on to the next section. Essentially, you mentioned that you guys are very hands-on when it comes to helping teams develop EOS technologies, cloud computing, whatever it is. I've seen you on multiple occasions talking about, the bridge to institutions or how it works and why you guys have to be hands-on to understand where the wind is blowing. I wanted to hear from your words, being so hands-on, developing all this R&D venture inside your team. Why SSV?
Yeah. So first of all, we're a team that is always scouting for like new ideas and new opportunities in the market, right? That's why it will be a shame that we miss any testnet opportunity or, any great ideas in the market. So we actually happened to get into the first testnet of Solana, as well as Oasis from the very beginning. We like it because, at the very beginning, it's a very small community where, there's more interactions, and also we see how the protocol improves. We're never shy to, give suggestions and also to give any like feedbacks that we have encountered. Yeah. So for SSV, this is also because, so we were actually in chat with Lido, and, we're looking at, how we can even improve liquid staking and ETH staking in general. Then we realized, with SSV, there will be a big improvement in terms of the the validator performance, and also to further decentralize the overall architecture of ETH staking. Yeah, so that was something that we really like. So yeah, we just got into SSV right away, and thank you guys. You guys were like super responsive, and so far we enjoy the community.
That's cool. Great to hear. I think that one of the goals we've put to ourselves is really to bring the best operators which are currently operating in the space to try and test out SSV. I think that of course, Lido operators are pretty significant bunch in terms of the probably the highest quality operators out there. I think that having Lido aligned with the SSV vision is very important. I think SSV can help a lot. And the fact that we have a bunch of Lido operators is a really good step forward, because you guys are controlling a lot of Ether today, and just the understanding that you are thinking about those things is very, very important. I think let's say the way you look at the ecosystem is very, I think, similar to the way we look, and a lot of other people look at the ecosystem, where it's another zero-sum game. We need to conserve a lot of the philosophical, let's say, points like decentralization and privacy, which a lot of people don't necessarily connect to on a daily basis. But those things are the only thing that separates Ethereum from everything else. We saw experiments of blockchains which were a few degrees more centralized than Ethereum, and it cost them a lot of users and a lot of engagement, because people don't feel it's theirs. And I think that the Ethereum community is really defined by the idea that people really think and kind of feel that Ethereum is, they are part of Ethereum and Ethereum is part of them, rather than just a token or something like that.
Yeah, indeed. I think the Ethereum community has a very collaborative and open-minded culture. This is something that we really like. we actually we started Ethereum staking, validating since last year. So we were actually pretty early in it, but we were super conservative because at the very beginning, we don't like two things about it. First of all, not able to unstake. We are not comfortable to come to go to our customers and tell them, hey, just stake with us, and we don't know when you will be able to unstake. And secondly, the slashing mechanism was pretty harsh because if you made some mistakes, then you won't be able to create any generate any rewards or back into the network anymore. That's why from the beginning we were only using our own ETH just to test it out because we're more comfortable, try it out, know what are the tricks before we actually open up to other people. That's why once we see the liquid staking concept and also, like other technology like SSV and other tools that actually helps us to, improve and better manage our network, we were much comfortable. Then, we step out and we start to collaborate more with other people. Yeah.
Awesome. It's great to hear.
Yeah. It's actually a good segue point into the next question. It's sort of in your vision, obviously SSV is in very early stages. There's still a lot of use cases and different implementations for it, but in your vision, how does it fit in your grand scheme of things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, for SSV itself, I see this as a great gateway of attracting more people to stake into the network, right? Because, using SSV, people will be more comfortable saying that, oh, I'm not just relying on one node operator. Actually, I'm relying on multiple. So this may encourage more people to stake. And we'll also see that, okay, we are happy to be part of this network, to offer that, to collaboratively, secure the network and operate those validators. So that is good. From a business point of view, this also brings more business to us. I think, we do have from a decentralization point of view, we do have a special point where, we are probably one of a few sizable and reputable validating service providers based in Asia. So you probably don't want to have all the validators either based in Europe or, somewhere else, right? So, having people somewhere else and, with a good reputation definitely helps the network, to be more robust. We also see, SSV as a technical stack that could also help us internally. Because, for example, right now we are using one ETH client. And as you guys all know, last week there was an incident on GETH, which kind of forced a big, a lot of inconvenience in the network. So we are, as a team, we are looking at, introducing multiple clients. We're also looking at, having a mixed cloud plus data center, to even make our network more diversified. So, in that case, we can actually have all our ETH also running on the SSV stack. So in that case, the different technology can play together. But yeah, of course, there are still a lot of technical details that needs to be sorted out. Yeah, that's something, so we will definitely follow up more with you guys.
Mm-hmm. You've been dealing with so many different POS blockchains. I was just wondering from your experience, from what you've seen so far, does this apply that, on the security level or key store management level, exposure to risk, slashing, whatever it may be? How does it or could it be relevant for other POS blockchains or other use cases for RockX?
Oh, you mean using SSV?
Yeah, I mean
to apply SSV to other?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely see, there's a big potential there. Yeah, I mean, for example, I think SSV particularly applies to, blockchains where they allowed more than 100 validators, because I think, the more validators, the more significance that how SSV can help the network, becomes obvious, right? I guess, like things like Avalanche, even like Kusama, for these blockchains, there could be opportunity to apply SSV into them.
Mm-hmm.
XDAI as well. I mean, I think we've mentioned it in a previous call. XDAI is, if it transitions to POS, I mean, I think there's plans to do so. Then yes, they can fit very naturally in it.
Great. The last section is about open-ended questions, sort of to pick your brain, to see what your opinion is. I'm sure people would like to know. Sort of like the big questions. Oh, sorry. Where do you see the Ethereum staking ecosystem after the upcoming merge? You mentioned you're bullish on Ethereum. I wanted to know what's your vision for the near, short-term, long-term future?
Yeah. So I guess I'm just gonna throw some wild ideas here. I leave it for other people to comment on it. Yeah. First of all, I'm curious to see, how the POW miners will react to the transition to POS. Yeah. So I wonder if there will be a fork on Ethereum, given that, there are still so many stake, and also I wouldn't call legacy mining machines, but, a lot of investments that has been made into the security of the POW chain, right? So whether those guys will move into ETC or whether this will be a new fork, I don't know. But I think, there will be that will be a crossroad, in terms of the community belief and also how people will see the whole network will evolve. And after that, I would think, Ethereum once Ethereum becomes POS, we'll probably see more usage in DeFi, due to the lower transaction fee and also faster speed. So we might see a situation where the users the staking reward will come primarily from transaction fees instead of the block rewards. I think that will be very significant, right? I think last year at the peak of a DeFi craze, there was a time period where transaction fee has surpassed block rewards.
Yeah.
So that was very encouraging. I think that will become the new normal, the new norms, in the future.
I definitely agree with that. I think that also come to piggy bank on that. I think MEV might have the potential to be a very significant part of a Validator's revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So that's also, I think a lot of things will shift, right? Yeah. Agree.
Exciting future times ahead. Last question, again, open-ended. The idea here is to introduce the network to the operators. There's also, I don't know if we mentioned it during this call, but we have a verified operator status to make sure that people don't choose operators that are not verified or might cause any issues for their stake. So this is exactly a part of that process to get to know the company behind it, to get to build that kind of trust that you mentioned that is missing, especially when it comes to such large sums of money and not being able to withdraw them. In your own words, I'd love to know, or let our users know, why choose you as an operator?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. First of all, our company philosophy here is that, we put security as the first priority. That's why for Ethereum, we did a lot of research looking at slash incidences, using our own assets to test it out before actually we launch it to customers. Also in this space, what makes us, being in the space for the past couple of years is also about reputation, right? So RockX has been running in the space for 3 years. So we treasure this reputation, and we want to see, this reputation to last forever. And lastly, we are a tech-focused company. That's where we're building tools. We are establish a lot of monitoring tools to look at, our validators, how to improve the performance. So we care about users' staking yield, and we look at ways, how to improve that for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
great
and
answer.
we're always here to help. We're always here to talk.
Yeah, and from our end, I mean, it was nothing but a great experience with you guys. Always up to date, always very eager to improve and everything. And so, yeah, definitely, I think you guys will, are great operators on the testnet and hopefully afterwards on the mainnet as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there aren't many companies with so many years of or individuals with so many years of experience in POS staking. So that's definitely a plus. If anyone wants to ask a question about the call, about the operator system, how it's chosen, or specifically about RockX, you can jump into the Discord. We'll gladly help you guys out. I'm sure that Zuling would also be gladly answer your questions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure. We will follow up, and we hope to host you again in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great call. Yeah, thank you guys.
Definitely interesting. Thank you, Zuling. We'll be in touch.
Thank you
Bye,
very
Alon.
much.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.